Welcome to Fantastic Comic Fan Presents. This is a relatively new podcast where I bring in indie creators talking about their publishing companies and independent comics that they have coming out. Today, I am happy to bring on Len Mihalovich from Lenovations Press. Len, tell the fans a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Len Mihalovich, and I'm an indie comic publisher. I just started out writing, but in this business, you quickly learn it's only the beginning. These days, I have to be a writer, an editor, colorist, a letterer, whatever convention carrying stuff in guy, whatever is needed. In indie comics, you do whatever it takes to bring your stories to life. It's all part of the ride.
So, what made you decide to get into creating your own comic books?
Back in the 90s, I realized that I was a writer. I was getting published regularly in a newspaper called Comic Buyer's Guide because I was writing them letters all the time, sending in detailed things about every comic show that I would go to, who was there, what my interactions with them were like. I liked to tell the stories. And I was also bothering Marvel and DC with fan letters, telling them what I liked about their comics. Fast forward a few years, started writing some comic scripts, collected my obligatory rejection letters from every major publisher. Eventually, someone gave me some good advice. Stop using everyone else's characters and just create your own. Try and go this on your own. And then approach smaller publishers, and they'll be more likely to accept you. I came up with Section 12, which was my own superhero team. I found an indie publisher called Dilemma Productions, who was thrilled to publish it. We moved to a bigger publisher after that called Mythic Comics, but Section 12 only lasted one issue with them before that company went broke because of all the nonsense going on with comic distribution at the time. So then I took some time off after that. But then around 2013, I got pulled back in. I had an encounter because I travel for my real job. I had an encounter with a selfish traveler. He was my airport nemesis. He would take up too many bags. He would push his way in front of people. And I was having a ball with it on social media, just photographing it. And everybody was enjoying it every week. And he wore this ridiculous tracksuit. So we called him Tracksuit Man. So my friend Michael Kelleher, who used to own Dilemma, told me it was a perfect story for a comic. It dropped on your lap. You should just go for it. Make a comic on your own. I'm like, make a comic on my own? I can't do that. And then that's how I found my way back to comics.
So, your comic company is called Lenovations Press. How did you come up with the name and what does it mean to you?
Back when my daughter was born, I needed to earn some extra money. So I taught myself website design. That was before all the easy apps. It took real coding and you could actually make a decent living doing it. So I called my company Lenovations because it combined my name, Len, with innovation. Fast forward to 2014, Tracksuit Man was ready to print. Before I could publish, I needed to come up with a quick name for a comic book company, especially because Amazon and Barnes and Noble at the time, it was a lot easier to get on if you had one. So I thought of something generic, like people were doing, or maybe geographic, like Cape Comics, since I live on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. But in the end, I realized I'd already been using Lenovations for years. My emails, my IDs, all my tags, everything was already Lenovation. So I just added press to it because comics sounded better. I went with Lenovations Press.
So, you also have comics appearing under Section 12 and Edge of Adventure. Why not just have one banner?
At first, the plan was simple. The Adventures of Tracksuit Man #1, and that was going to be it. I had fun making it. I figured I'd be done, but at the last minute, two of my friends from the old Dilemma days, Mike Kelleher and Phil Miller, jumped in and said they wanted to help with the artwork. I was like, seriously, where were you guys when I was doing this all alone? But we had a blast working together again, and none of us wanted it to end. Maybe it was me. Suggested we start Section 12 back up under the banner of Lenovations Press. So we did that. And then convention after convention, people would come up to us and go, "Is that all you do is Section 12?" And I'm like, "I have Tracksuit Man here." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And after the millionth time, when somebody asked me, I rolled my eyes and Phil looked at me and said, "I'd really like to draw a Western comic." And I said, that was a valid point, a good idea. So we started to plan a graphic novel. Guess what it was called? Edge of Adventure. So Phil was drawing the story called Red Mask Rides Again. Graphic novels take forever to come out. It was going to be like 100 pages. It was going to take us a year and a half to do. I don't have that kind of patience. So I'm like I'm just going to make this a line of comics and call it Edge of Adventure so it's not confused with Section 12. And so I have Section 12 and Edge of Adventure as their own brands.
How many comic books do you put out a year? What are some of the recent ones that you put out? And what type of fans would enjoy the stuff that you're putting out?
Comic books in a year. Let's see. Last year we did 8. My first one, I did one, and then 2 years later I did another one, and then the next year I did one. But after that, I started religiously doing 3 a year, and that was my goal, and we kept with it. Last year was 8, which was great. This year I'm targeting 6. The most recent one we released was last month. It was The Wild West Adventures of Buffalo Bill #3. It's an action adventure series that follows Buffalo Bill and his traveling carnival, and they stumble into all kinds of quirky, larger than life adventures. Not really a public domain because I'm not copying anything or reprinting anything. Buffalo Bill's a public figure, but I just took that what if his Wild West show was more of a traveling carnival with circus freaks and things like that? What kind of trouble could we get him into in the Old West? Another recent release was Section 12 Antarctic Special. It was a 3-issue miniseries where the Section 12 characters team up with Tomorrow Girl from Antarctic Press. This was a fast-paced adventure. It's a lot of action and some great character moments. We go back and forth between the two styles, which was a lot of fun because it's an American manga comic, which Tomorrow Girl, and ours is very traditional. So it was fun to have both artists draw the characters in the different styles.
How do you decide what comic books to put out next?
That's just it. It's what we want to put out next. So Section 12 Antarctic Special was a lot of fun. It was supposed to be a 15-page crossover with Tomorrow Girl. True to form, I ended up writing a 60-page story. So we broke it up into 3 issues, called it a miniseries. Actually, Antarctic Press is reprinting it this summer in Tomorrow Girl 13, 14, and 15. So be on the lookout for that. That'll actually be in comic stores. It's in Diamond right now. That was a good story, but we were heads down in the Section 12 universe for almost a year. So it's like, we need something different. So Phil Miller went and started drawing Fantastic Fanboys #2, which couldn't be more different than Section 12. And I went on to working on Adventures of Buffalo Bill #3. So we just want to change it up because our lineup of things has to be interesting for us too. Every issue is a project. Every issue is a real commitment of time, money, and resources for me and the whole team. We're not a big company, so we can't afford to half-ass any comic. Every project has to bring something that we're all excited about.
Okay, I saw that you're on Patreon. What made you go into that route in terms of marketing and for your brand?
Patreon is basically my subscription platform. For the paid tier, I like to give real value. I'll put people's names in the comics on the website, and I give great bonuses with every comic release. The entire Tomorrow Girl miniseries, which contains 8 extra pages that aren't in the regular book, I gave that to all my Patreon subscribers. I did not charge them for it. So it's a kind of a nice free thing to get in your envelope because I figure if I'm sending you something anyway, if I'm sending you a comic book and you've paid for the shipping, if I can sneak something else in there, I'm going to do it.
So, when did you start getting into the digital formats and why?
Back in 2013, my goal was for everybody to read Tracksuit Man on their iPhones and their iPods. I believe digital was the future. I thought comic fans would prefer to consume it that way. Turns out I was wrong. We still sell more print comics than digital. Even when I gave away digital copies at shows, only about 10% of those codes were redeemed. One thing I did get right was putting up a few full comics on the website, no strings attached. I'm not asking for an email address or a trial membership or anything. It's just people can read the first 2 issues of Section 12 if they want to, and just come back and enjoy it as much as they want.
You're on both Indie Planet and Drive Through Comics. What's the difference between the two?
So Indie Planet is owned by a printing company. So they can offer both print and digital versions of our comic, which is great. And they fulfill them right there. So if you're ordering something from Indie Planet, it doesn't come to me and I don't have to get one printed out, have it shipped to me, send it out to you. It's a big help. They don't pay me in money, they pay me in printing credits. So that means that I can cover the cost of the next print run without anything out of pocket because of the sales that I've done off their website. Drive-through comics, on the other hand, is strictly digital for us. They're widely used and well respected with a solid interface. It's easy to create new content. It's a great platform. You just have to upload a PDF. They'll watermark it for you. They'll put all the commands in there, and it's for readers who prefer digital comics.
Is there cost involved to put them on their platform?
They get their cut by taking a percentage right off the top. Both companies do that. Amazon, actually, this isn't common knowledge, but they charge you the bandwidth that it takes the server to download it. So I have to actually charge more when I do. Amazon used to be Comixology, now it's KDP. When I do KDP electronic for Kindle, I have to charge more because they charge me more.
So, how do you figure out price points between your digital copies and your print on demand? How do you figure out a price point? Do you ever run sales or anything like that?
Yeah, I've drive through comics. I'll put stuff up there. I'll make it free for the weekend or something like that. Every once in a while, somebody will jump on it, which is great. For figuring out price point, Indie Planet helps us. They say what it's going to cost and what you're going to make on it. The website is very clear. It lays it all out for you. And that helps me when I get them shipped to me too. I just add in the shipping cost divided by the number of copies of comic you get. And then you have a true cost of what it is. So that helps you price it out for shows.
Have you considered doing any Kickstarters?
So Kickstarter, yeah, I get this question a lot. Actually, right now I'm promoting a Kickstarter for a project I was involved in called Megaton Man Multi-Mentions. It's a fun crossover where my characters get to visit Megaton Man universe and interact with all of Don Simpson's bizarre characters. But as far as running my own Kickstarter, I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. I take it seriously because when you run a Kickstarter, you're using other people's money, and that comes with a real responsibility to deliver your promises. So right now, I don't think I'm quite there yet. I'm focusing on building an audience and producing quality comics.
How about webtoons? You just think about maybe doing a vertical thing on some of your content for something like webtoons?
I've been exploring that. It's a lot of reformatting. Fortunately, I have versions of my comic where it's not layered in with the lettering, so I could easily do that, but it's one more thing and it's not on the top of the pile right now.
I saw you're on Global Comics. Now, to me, Global Comics is everything that Comixology should have been in the first place.
It's not quite there yet. I don't know how much feedback you've had this, but I'm literally getting pennies for every issue I sell off of it. And the traffic isn't enough to warrant that low of a cut for any creator. So I think they need to revise that model a little bit.
They're still relatively new anyways. But why did you decide to go on Global Comics?
Sometimes I feel it's more important to get the word out about your comics than making the sales. I don't have everything on Global Comics. I'm just hoping to attract new readers and bring them into the audience.
So how does it work for a publisher to get on Global Comics?
It's pretty easy. They're very good to work with that way. You have to own the content, of course, and you have an account and you upload it. The whole process of itself is a little bit of a pain because you have to load each page as an image and then you have to format it for their reader structure. That takes a little time to set up, but once you do it, it's done.
How long have you been on Global Comics?
I want to say I'm a year now, I think, close to that.
Do you see it working for you? Or is it still too soon to tell?
I'm throwing it up there. I'm getting every week. They send you analytics every week, which is really good. It tells you how many people have looked at it, how many people have passed it by. Every week, I'm getting more followers and more looks and more views and stuff like that. Every once in a while, I'll throw another issue up. Section 12 Lost Adventures is on number 8 now, so I just put issue number 4 out. We'll get there, but I'm going to take it slow because if anybody wants to come to my website and get the real deal, then that's great. If they want to consume it as a print copy or a digital download, they can get it right from me or some of the other sources. Global Comics is an online reader.
Do you do a lot of social marketing?
Yes, I do. I haven't really had a lot of luck with the paid stuff as far as taking out Facebook ads and things like that. I'm not huge on Twitter. I had a Twitter account. I had somebody who was managing it for me, but she moved on. So we don't do a lot of that. I'm trying to do more on Instagram because I know that's the place to be. I love Facebook. I sell a lot on Facebook. I connect with a lot of people on Facebook. It's really great for what I'm trying to do. And recently we launched a YouTube channel, and that's been very effective too.
So What's coming up in the near future from Lenovation's press?
Let's see. What do we have coming up? I'm lettering Fantastic Fanboys Adventures #2. I thought this comic was going to be a one shot. We pretty much sold out of issue #1. Everybody asked for it. We got favorable reviews, so why not? Phil Miller is hard at work drawing Section 12 Lost Adventures #8, where the team gets turned into cute video game characters and has to battle game bosses modeled after themselves. We're also deep into production on Wild West Adventures of Buffalo Bill #4, Section 12 Declassified #7. On top of that, I've written a full-length novel based on Section 12 Flashback #1. It's currently running through the editing process, which is not me, even better. Looking ahead, we're planning on branching out to 2 new titles this year. One is called Uneven Ground. It's a historical story about the Yugoslavian resistance fighting the Nazis during World War II. The other is Tales of the Unknown, a horror anthology that's going to let us tell all kinds of spooky stories.
Len, thank you for joining me on the podcast. It was very informative. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much.